Wang Lin's path in Renegade Immortal is anything but ordinary. His journey to immortality is paved with hardship, danger, and choices that would terrify most cultivators. At every step, he faces life-threatening trials. And when he reaches the critical point of breaking into the infant transformation realm, his next move is one that shocks the entire cultivation world. To break through this nearly insurmountable stage, Wang Lin joins forces with an unlikely ally, Duntian, the powerful ancestor of the Soul Refining Sect. Together they hatch a daring plan to rob every 5th-level cultivation country on Zhuque Star in order to seize the resources needed for Wang Lin's breakthrough. Wang Lin wasn't born into privilege. He came from an ordinary mortal family without any deep-rooted background or support, but what he lacked in resources, he made up for in tenacity and an indomitable will. Through countless battles, trials, and brushes with death, his strength gradually grew. Yet despite all he had achieved, the infant transformation realm loomed over him like a mountain too tall to climb. This stage in cultivation isn't just a matter of power. It represents a fundamental transformation of one's being. It's a test not only of spiritual strength, but of the mind, the heart, and the soul. Failing to advance could mean stagnation, or worse, death. But success would mean taking a major step forward on the road to true immortality. Wang Lin understood the stakes completely, but he was also determined to rise no matter the cost. At this pivotal moment, fate led him to Duntian, a cultivator who had already achieved the late stage of infant transformation. Duntian was one of the ancestral figures of Pilu, a 5th-level cultivation country on Zhuque Star. Though they were not master and disciple, Duntian saw Wang Lin's potential and decided to guide him. He wasn't doing this purely out of kindness. There was a deeper reason. The Soul Refining Sect, once mighty, had fallen into decline. It had once stood tall as a proud 5th-level cultivation power, protected by 3 peak-level infant transformation experts. But due to political manipulation and interference, especially from the mysterious and domineering Zhuque Kingdom, its rise to the 6th level had been deliberately sabotaged. The sect was forced into stagnation, and over time its great cultivators either perished or fell from prominence. Now, with Duntian being the last true pillar of the sect, its future hung by a thread. Once Duntian passed away, the Soul Refining Sect risked complete collapse. Its most powerful artifact, the billion soul flags, might be lost. And without anyone strong enough to defend the sect, enemies would undoubtedly seize the chance to destroy it once and for all. In Wang Lin, Duntian saw a glimmer of hope, not only for Wang Lin's personal rise, but for the possible rebirth of the Soul Refining Sect. And so Duntian came up with a radical plan. Instead of waiting around for fortune or fate to hand them a lucky opportunity, he suggested they create their own luck by raiding every 5th-level cultivation country on the star. Zhuque Star was home to several 5th-level cultivation nations, each rich with spiritual treasures. These countries guarded their resources jealously. They controlled vast stores of rare herbs, ancient magical tools, cultivation techniques, and spiritual beasts. For most independent cultivators, accessing these treasures was nearly impossible. Sects and elite families hoarded them, leaving little to none for outsiders. But Wang Lin and Duntian weren't ordinary outsiders. They were determined, clever, and powerful, and they had nothing left to lose. Before acting, they carefully surveyed the situation. They studied each cultivation country in depth, their power structures, internal conflicts, strengths and weaknesses, and above all, where their valuable resources were kept. What they discovered gave them confidence. Though the countries looked united and stable on the surface, internally they were riddled with conflict, sect rivalries, political games, and ego-driven fights between cultivators had weakened them from within. The perfect environment for Wang Lin and Duntian's covert operations. Their strategy was simple, but deadly effective. Wang Lin would act as bait, using his unique abilities to draw attention. With the ancient god's body and the Tiani Pearl, he had powers that few others could match. He deliberately appeared near national borders, causing disruption and casting high-level spells that could be sensed by every top cultivator in the area. Naturally, the leaders and high-level masters of these nations took notice. Believing Wang Lin to be a rogue intruder, They sent out their strongest to subdue him. Entire groups of God transformation stage cultivators would rush to confront him, aiming to suppress him quickly. But while they were distracted with Wang Lin, Duntian would strike. Silently, invisibly, he would infiltrate their treasure vaults. With his years of experience and mastery over soul power, he moved undetected. He'd steal what he needed, rare herbs, soul items, magical weapons, and then leave without a trace. On one occasion, Wang Lin found himself surrounded by multiple high-level cultivators from a particularly powerful nation. They believed they had cornered him. He fought back with fierce resistance, using ancient techniques to hold them at bay. But they were too many, and he began to feel the pressure. Just as his spiritual energy was about to run dry, Duntian arrived, having completed the heist. Releasing the power of 1 billion soul flags, Duntian shook the battlefield. The soul energy that burst forth overwhelmed their enemies. The two fought side by side, driving back the attackers and vanishing into the night with their spoils. This pattern repeated across several operations. With each successful raid, Wang Lin gained more and more cultivation resources. His spiritual foundation grew stronger. His techniques became sharper, and step by step, he inched closer to the breakthrough he so desperately needed. But such actions couldn't go unnoticed forever. Eventually, the major forces of Zhuque Star began to see the pattern. One after another, they recognized that the thefts weren't isolated incidents, but part of a coordinated campaign. They began forming alliances, pooling their power to hunt down the pair responsible for these bold raids. Wang Lin and Duntian's enemies grew in number, and their challenge became greater with each move they made. The path ahead was no longer just about seizing resources. Now they were being hunted. But even as the storm gathered, Wang Lin's eyes remained fixed on his goal: to break through to the infant transformation realm and to take his destiny into his own hands. This wasn't just about power anymore. It was about survival, about legacy, about changing the fate of those like him, those born with nothing who dared to climb the heavens with their own strength. Wang Lin and Duntian knew that their actions would be remembered. Some would call them villains, others would call them heroes, but for them it didn't matter, because on the road to immortality, there is no turning back. And that's the story of how Wang Lin and Duntian shook the entire cultivation world with their daring plan. What do you think of their bold move? Would you have taken the same risk? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got more epic stories from Renegade Immortal and other amazing Donghua coming your way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.